Hello guys, I wanted to share with you guys in more detail the items or the feeding items that I use pretty regularly with I've been using with my last two children and would highly recommend. And as of a few weeks ago, if you do purchase through my affiliate link, you get a 15% off of your entire purchase, and you help me out. So I highly appreciate it if you do. If you have any questions as to why I recommend these and you have specific concerns about your child or your patient, of course, feel free to reach out. This again, everything I'm recommending is for typically developing. If there are any other medical involvement, child or patient is being seen by occupational therapists, feeding therapists, other specialties, and there's other reasons why they recommend certain things, please follow those instructions and those recommendations. This is just for the general public and for typical development, I would say. This, I originally had it, obviously was used in this color, but our friends gave us, the last order we got was in the green color because it is definitely one of my favorite colors. As you've seen, my high chair and a lot of baby items that I have are this green color. I just am obsessed with this color. Even though I have all girls, definitely recommend. So love their tiny plates. This is definitely my favorite, but this would be for, I would say, for introducing solids the first time and kind of like till they are toddlers. Once you have an older kiddo, I prefer the divider plates, especially if you have a picky eater or someone that is more particular about how things are organized. So they do have that option as well. And I have that on my link if you want to take a look. But you know, this tiny plate is perfect. I think I've explained it in other videos, and you probably have seen it from other therapists who talk about, you know, having an actual rim for the baby once they're introduced to solids to kind of like bump into whenever they're scooping their food. Instead of just like an empty tray where kind of things get lost and they end up spilling it into their lap, or you know, it's harder for them to maintain control. So having some type of rim that they can kind of like scooch their food onto before they pick it up, it's very helpful. So I highly recommend the tiny plate. Again, they have other options you can look into. When you order the last one I ordered was the Learn to Eat and Drink box, which comes with a plate. The tiny plate comes with 2 of these tiny spoons. It comes with the food cutters, this one long ways for 6 months and up, and the tiny pieces for 9 months and up, roughly, you know. Comes with the gum line feeder, which I talked about in prior video, and it comes with one of their tiny cups. This is definitely my favorite product, and I've had this forever, so so the gum line feeder, I like to, like I mentioned in another video, I like to put anything that you're kind of concerned about of giving baby as a whole piece, or fruits, vegetables that have lots of juices in it. This one's perfect. You pop it off, super easy to clean. You put the food in there, make sure it clicks back on, and it helps baby self-feed and get a good bit of the juice and kind of like good stuff out of the meat or the fruits out without the actual chunks. So kind of one of the first things I would recommend. You can also give it to them for chewing before you're even introducing solids, just to kind of allow and accept things into their mouth that are not, they're more like a feeding tool. And then if you were having trouble with getting your baby, you know, at that 7-8 month mark, to start kind of like paying attention to the food on the side of their mouth, it's easy to kind of swoop in through the cheeks and cue them to kind of bring their tongue to the side or that side, you know, finish what's there, let's get it all. But typically they kind of do that with development on their own. So just a good tool. These guys, oh man. So I would, when you're first introducing the solids, you want the long pieces where they're doing that kind of open hand to grab items. So this one is recommended for that 6 month start. And then as you get to 9 months and up, you can start providing smaller pieces where they have more of a, I believe, pincer grasp is what they call. So you can use this one. However, I just want to explain that I have older kiddos also who are, like I've mentioned, picky eaters, and so these serve as novelty items. So I've gotten them to eat other foods that otherwise they wouldn't touch or eat, just because they get to handle it, they get to cut it, and they get to make it look fun and different. So these, I would say it's meant for infants, but I've been giving it a good use with my picky eaters that are older. So just FYI. And then, like you saw in other videos, this tiny cup is just the perfect little size for their tiny hands, and it's heavy in the bottom, so it gives them that like sensory input that you are holding, and then it kind of helps them cue for the tilts that they need to do in order to drink. Of course, you're modeling it, you're teaching them, and it's small enough that you can fill up to the brim, and it's not like a ridiculous amount of water they're going to spill on themselves. Love it, highly recommend it. And I think I mentioned this before, my older kids just enjoy using this because I think the sensory input they get from like holding something kind of heavy, even though it's so tiny. So I do see my older kids use this cup often. I tell them that's not for them, but however, it's fine. I like that it comes with 2 spoons. I think I also have mentioned this before to you guys. When you are introducing foods to your child, it's very important that you allow self-feeding to happen. And so having 2 spoons gives you that opportunity to fill up 1 spoon and then let the baby kind of hold the other spoon, so they're in control. And then as they put this one in their mouth and it's empty, you kind of swoop, take it off, give them the next one that's already preloaded, and they can try to bring that to their mouth. Because at the beginning they have very little ability of that fine motor skill, so it does take them a long time to transfer food into their mouth, and they get more frustrated. So it's helpful to just kind of be supportive while you're watching them eat, to preload spoon, but still let them be the ones that are feeding. There's so much research behind the fact that if a child is self-feeding and kind of like monitoring the amount of food that's going into their mouth, is less likely for choking incidents to happen. Their body's kind of helping them regulate. I know it doesn't seem that way because they're so small and you're like, how do they know? But it's highly recommended. It also provides kind of like teaching the body how much food in a meal you should have, because they will self-cue and be like, okay, that's enough, and kind of stop on their own without you kind of shoveling food into them, which research has shown that these kids that are exposed to self-feeding or allowed to self-feed reduces the likelihood that you will be obese and have kind of like weight issues due to overeating and things like that. You know, your body kind of tells you what's up, and so kind of helping them make that connection from an early age is super important. I know this is not what we were told years ago when we didn't have research. I talked to mom about that, my mom, and she's like, I wish I knew those things. That's okay, we do what we can with what we know. So I'm here to share that information. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me, to write me. Please always consult with your pediatrician, your intervention group that your child or your patient is seeing, and keep track of that. I hope this video is as helpful as it can be. And again, if you would like to have access to these items, I have a link in my bio, and I can just send you the link if you want that. So anyways, happy morning. Bye.